humans will basically all move to a space colony and completely adapt to living in a bad environment. They use advanced technology to collect resources to meet their needs. However, the sudden disaster came and the colony was surrounded by extraterrestrial life. Security expert Olivia, can you save your home without any support? Cut the crap, let's start from the beginning. In a vast and shadowless universe, a spaceship named La Joviana is sailing, carrying 2 adults and a child. At this moment, the alarm of an enemy invasion is sounded. The little girl Olivia is woken up by the sound. She hears her father shouting at the window, "Hurry up and open the door!" However, her mother doesn't let Olivia take the risk because a monster is waiting outside the door. Olivia can only hear her father's outcries. "You are a very brave girl. I know you will be fine. But don't ever tell me." In 22 years, Olivia has grown up to be a big girl. That year, the disaster became a memory. Now she lives in the remote space colony of Hycadia. There are a total of 255 adults and 62 children. Olivia, as an excellent security expert, is responsible for the control room of the colony, ensuring the safety and welfare of the community. In addition, she has a stable relationship with a man named Andrew. Andrew has a 10-year-old daughter, Mira. Because his mother was not around when he was a child, Mira was very close to Olivia. However, when the 3-month contract expires, Olivia will leave Hycadia. Hycadia is owned by Height Enterprises, which specializes in expanding the colony. Employees usually sign a 15-year contract to help humans continue to explore the new world and build homes on various planets. As long as you are rich enough, you can choose to retire and enjoy the rest of your life and Height Enterprises first-class service. Olivia takes a train to work. A boy gathers up his courage to come and say hello because he heard that Olivia came from Earth. The boy wants to know if Earthlings can really raise pets. In fact, when Olivia was still on Earth, the environment there had been severely damaged. The daily sunshine time is only about 2 hours. Some animals have to climb trees to live. Her words broke the boy's beautiful fantasy. Not long after, Olivia arrived at the control room. At the same time, Arlo just pointed out that he had to return on the 29th. In fact, the control room usually does not encounter any serious problems. Basically, it's just some insurance broken or the toilet clogged or something like that. Olivia saw a pile of boxes on the ground and asked what these things were for. Arlo explained that they were some new devices ready to be installed, including monitors and computers. At this time, Mara suddenly called. It turned out that the little girl overheard the conversation between Olivia and her father and didn't want to be separated from him. But at the beginning of the conversation, Olivia told Andrew that when the 15-year contract expires, she would return to where she was born. Mara hung up the phone in despair. Arlo couldn't help but ask, "You haven't been back for 20 years and no one is waiting for you at home. Why are you so determined to return to Earth? That place is only suitable for rich people to live in. Not going to Earth is equivalent to living in sin." Olivia didn't explain much. She just wanted to go back to where her parents lived when she was a child. The next second, the control room's alarm rang. The atmospheric detector detected an unknown object, but the radar couldn't detect it. Then the control room shook violently. Even the power room and the communication tower were affected by the fire. 3 people were injured in the maintenance room. One of them was seriously injured. This is very rare. Arlo, as a newcomer, was a little nervous. He wanted to confirm the situation with a few survivors. Unexpectedly, when this happened, he was immediately stopped by Olivia. They were in charge of the control room. They had to look around the room and see what these people were doing on the screen. Arlo had no choice but to contact the rescue team to rescue them. He was focused on helping Olivia find the cause of the accident, but all the monitors were broken. Olivia asked Arlo to contact the technical department. Then he went to confirm if the vibration had affected the control room's internal secret device. At this moment, Arlo heard a strange noise outside the window. He and Olivia went to check it out. They found a strange-shaped aircraft passing by. Olivia immediately issued a warning to the base. There was an unknown flying ship just landed. The base was at great risk of being attacked. Everyone should be prohibited from going to the 5th floor. Then Arlo found that there were a lot of people at the door. They seemed to be interfering with the signal. Olivia had no choice but to use maps and voice tracking.
The red dot on the screen representing the intruder was killing the residents of the 5th floor. The number of deaths was enough. They pulled down the red alert. The control room was immediately locked. So don't complain that your work is easy. They were just talking about chicken feathers and garlic skin every day. Today there was a dangerous mess. The news of the intruder entering the base has spread between the districts. Because the intruder is still spreading inwards, Olivia announced on the spot to close the warehouse door to prevent them from entering other areas. Then she notified Mira to go to the second shelter as soon as possible. She was going to inform Arlo to go to the 2nd floor to find his daughter, but before she could say anything, the communication was suddenly cut off, and the intruders were about to break through the warehouse door. Olivia was very shocked. That's a 9-inch steel door. How could they open it so easily? These intruders are definitely not humans. Olivia told everyone to speed up and retreat to the shelter. Never confront the intruder face to face. But someone didn't listen to the command. A black brother insisted on driving away the intruders. What else did he say? It's okay, we have 5 people. Everyone has an axe and a shovel as a weapon. Listen to this level of confidence. I don't know if you think the 5 of you are from the Avengers. You're holding a thunder hammer. Arlo quickly told the black brother, "We're not sure if those intruders are humans. Let them face each other. We'll buy time for the others." Arlo didn't understand how Olivia could be so cold-blooded. She couldn't take these living people as a bargaining chip. So she ordered the black brother not to take action. "You 5 get back to the shelter." Guess what? The black brother didn't listen. He insisted on defending the base. As the saying goes, you can never wake up the people who pretend to sleep. At the same time, you can't stop the people who have to die. Arlo could only watch his friends run to death. In a blink of an eye, the 5 little dots were destroyed. The 7 monsters went in different directions. The control room's doorbell rang for help. Arlo saw 7 people being blocked outside the door. He had to open the door and let them in. But Olivia thought the control room couldn't have any accidents, so she couldn't open the door. Arlo didn't listen. He wanted to open the door. But the next second, the monster's voice came from outside. If he had opened the door just now, the control room would have been completely lost. The workers in the refinery were already dead. The situation was not optimistic. Olivia planned to close the shelter immediately. If everyone gathers, the entire shelter will be in danger. The top priority was to reduce the risk to the minimum. Fortunately, Mira was in the crowd. She entered the shelter in time. Olivia closed the second door quickly. But Arlo didn't close the first shelter because his parents hadn't arrived yet. Humans are selfish creatures in the end. Even if he could only see those strangers as a source on the operating table, he couldn't ignore the safety of his biological parents. Arlo waited for his parents to enter the first shelter before pressing the lock button. But because there were too many people stuck at the door, the first door couldn't be closed at all. A monster quickly ate the people outside and successfully broke into the first shelter. Now the second door is closed. It's a pity that the sheep and wolves are locked together. The lives of more than 30 people are in danger. Not only Arlo's parents, Andrew was also eaten alive by the monster. On the other hand, Mendez from the second shelter sent a message saying that the safety gate was melting. Those monsters seemed to be able to emit laser beams. With this level of destruction, in less than 2 hours, the second shelter would be lost. Olivia could only comfort Mendez. You should stay as far away from the second door as possible. The headquarters will send a rescue team soon. After Olivia cut off the communication, she asked Arlo to check the supplies of the second shelter to see if there were any weapons they could use. Arlo forced himself to check the supplies, and Mendez, because he was worried about his father, called to ask about the whereabouts of Olivia and Andrew. Olivia couldn't bear to tell him the truth, half true and half false. Your father is in another shelter now. There is no way to talk to him now. Mendez believed it to be true and hung up, and Arlo checked it out. He found that there were only some flashlights and screws in the second shelter. Now there are 48 people in the second shelter. 6 people are trapped outside. At the same time, there are 6 monsters wandering in the hall.
The 7th is trapped in shelter number 1. The 8th is looking for prey everywhere. Olivia estimated that no one in shelter number 2 could be saved. Although she made a promise to Mela and the others, the actual situation is that there are no weapons in the base. Even if there were, no one would use them. And the first thing the monster destroyed after invasion was the communication tower. So Olivia couldn't ask the headquarters for help. She couldn't help but ask, "What's the use of your control room? I'm looking at what you can do, which is to fix a light bulb and go to the bathroom." Arlo didn't give up and watched everyone die. He wanted the 6 people trapped outside to enter the control room to escape. Good guy, you just killed more than 30 people because of your parents? You still don't give up and plan to disobey the order? It's about to end. Don't you want to break the protocol in case it affects your payment? We can't risk our lives and put the room in danger just for 6 people. Only Arlo wrote a message with 6 flashlights. He said, "Mr. West is a chef who has been in the business for 45 years. The first birthday cake in Arlo's life was made by him. Every child in the colony has eaten West's cake." Next is Reese and Pater. They met when they were transporting supplies. They have been inseparable since then. In a few months, they will have their first child. Then there was an engineer, a single father. He lost his wife 8 years ago because of mining. If we don't open the door, these living people will die. Arlo was going to go on, but he was stopped by Olivia. He turned on the white noise device in the base to stabilize himself for the time being. Then Olivia agreed to bring the survivors in. But the premise is that Arlo must obey the command. He must not disobey his order. You know, Pater is in the church. West is in the safe room. Reese's wife is in the power room corridor. Lupe and Camilo are near the medical room. They can't be reached for the time being because they are injured, but they're very close to West. Olivia contacted Pater first. This guy didn't even know there was a monster in the base. Olivia asked him to come to the control room first and pay attention to whether there was a weapon that could be used. Pater suddenly asked, "Can you help me see my son? His name is Lucas. He should be in the shelter." Pater immediately searched Lucas's information. It's a pity that the little boy is now dead in shelter number 1. Olivia shook Arlo's head and told him not to tell Pater the truth now. Pater only told Pater his son was in shelter number 1. Then Olivia contacted West. She said, "I'll find a way to get you into the control room, but you have to go to the medical room first and bring the 2 survivors who are hiding there together." West was brave enough to go to the medical room. Arlo contacted West's wife. They're both workers in the transportation department, so they have portable cameras on them. Arlo helped them change the frequency and reduce interference, so the clear instant picture was transmitted to the control room. Olivia asked West, "How many tools do you have?" The other party replied, "Not many, only a flashlight and a nail gun." Pater added, "I can connect to the radio and assemble a simple grenade." Arlo said excitedly, "Then we can use a grenade to stop the monster." He didn't think Pater would immediately deny this proposal. He said, "If you've seen a monster, you won't say that. Face-to-face combat is no better than death." But Arlo was willing to sacrifice himself and take action. He has lost his parents and he would rather give up. Maybe he can save the people in shelter number 2. West was puzzled and asked, "Why didn't you contact headquarters for help?" Olivia explained the communication tower was destroyed and the message could not be sent out at all. Unexpectedly, Pater asked, "How bad is it? If it's just a power outage or a simple damage, maybe we can fix the communication tower." Pater's words brought hope again. Olivia instructed Pater and his wife to assemble with Boxia on the way, to give her the simple grenade for the time being and teach Boxia how to use it. The 3 successfully completed the handover, and then they should go to the communication tower. Boxia is the most familiar with maintenance as an engineer, and Pater was willing to leave some more bombs, but he asked Olivia to guide West into the control room. Only when the family is safe, Pater can work at ease. Olivia promised to keep an eye on Reese. Then West got a call. He had found Lupe and Camilo in the medical room, but they were in poor condition, and I'm afraid they couldn't walk on their own. Olivia asked West to try again, to see if he could help them stand up. At this time, Boxia had already seen 15 corpses on the way. He was sighing, "What kind of intruder is so cruel?" Then he heard a strange sound. A monster was moving rapidly in the direction of Boxia. It's too late to run now. Arlo told Boxia to find a place to hide quickly. Boxia is the only hope to contact headquarters. There must be no accident.
Olivia thought someone had to be a bait to lure the monster away to keep Baxia safe. So he told Wes that an enemy was heading to the medical room. You'd better run away from the northeast exit. Wes didn't know he was a bait, and he was stupidly asking what to do with the wounded. Olivia acted seriously to keep Wes safe. Wes thought it was true, so he ran out of the northeast exit and ran into the monster. The monster quickly caught up with Wes and killed him. Baxia then had time to escape. Then Reese finally came to the control room. Olivia opened the window and was ready to respond. Unexpectedly, as soon as the door opened, he met the corpses outside. These people were the unlucky ones who had been blocked at the door before. Not long after Reese appeared, he ran into the control room. Olivia quickly closed the window and opened the front door for Reese, telling him to keep an eye on Peter and Baxia. If anything happens, report immediately. On the other hand, Reese was extremely depressed because of West's sacrifice. Olivia knew he was upset, but it was a necessary job. Reese said, "A few years ago, I was working in the hangar when I encountered a gas leak. Many people were injured and everyone was panicking. I didn't expect the control room to send a message to command them to deal with the crisis. Since then, Arlo has been trying to get into the control room and become everyone's shelter instead of taking lives as a game." Olivia completely crushed his fantasy. If you think you're the best at doing it, it's because you've had your heart turned off. While the two were chatting, Reese checked the control room's operation record and directly pointed out Arlo's mistake, which was that he closed the door too slowly and caused the #1 warehouse to fail. It seems that Reese is more suited for this job than Arlo. At this time, Reese sent a message that he had arrived at the communication tower and thought that the damage was not serious and could be fixed in about 10 minutes. The monster was currently in the breeding area and would not be transferred here for a while. Reese asked Olivia while repairing if he had ever encountered this kind of situation at work. Olivia mentioned that when she was a child, her parents were attacked by monsters. At that time, she was the only one who escaped from the shelter. Later, she was placed in the company's orphanage. When Olivia was a little more mature, she signed a contract with the company. This was a more painful choice than today. She had already done it more than 20 years ago. When Reese repaired the communication tower, Olivia quickly contacted the headquarters and stated that 96 colonists had been attacked. Who knew that the latter said that he could not do anything? Now there are already 20 colonists at the same time. All the army in the headquarters has been sent out. It will take at least 17 hours to have enough manpower. But the problem is that the #2 shelter can last at most an hour. Olivia said, "The headquarters must have more than 20 troops. Why don't you send troops?" Why? Because the headquarters must have people to protect themselves, and Olivia's base is a place they can abandon. At this moment, the monster attacked Baxia while everyone else was not paying attention. Fortunately, she launched a grenade before she died and took the monster with her. Arlo was stimulated and went to another room. Reese took the opportunity to open the communication tower of Peter to talk to Olivia. Now the #2 shelter must be dead. The control room is not absolutely safe. We only have one way to get to the reconnaissance ship. Even if we can't get out of this planet, we can avoid the monster's pursuit. 3 people can last at least 19 hours, 4 people can only last 14 hours, and the headquarters take 17 hours to get here. So Reese and Arlo mean to abandon Arlo. Olivia thinks it's a little funny. "Do you know that if it weren't for Arlo, I wouldn't have saved you?" Reese saw he refused to cooperate, so he took out a nail gun to kidnap Arlo and nailed a body to him to show that he wasn't kidding. Olivia said, "I just set the time. The door of #1 shelter will open in 40 seconds, and your husband will be in danger. If you don't let Arlo go, Peter will definitely die." Reese was cruel. He refused to let Arlo go and asked his husband to go to the control room as soon as possible and open the door. Olivia wanted to close the door, but it was too late. The monster had already rushed in with Peter. He was transparent and could only see an outline. Reese fired several nails in a row, but the attack was useless. He was thrown to the ground by the monster, and Olivia let Arlo run away. She also took the opportunity to escape to the control room and locked the monster and Peter outside. But the door of #1 shelter couldn't stop the monster. Fortunately, Arlo appeared in time. He took a nail gun to distract the monster. Olivia threw the bomb over, and the monster broke in. But Arlo's injury was too serious, and he knew he couldn't last long.
Besides, other monsters would come as soon as they heard the explosion. Arlo asked Olivia to promise to find a way to save #2 shelter. Unfortunately, before Olivia retreated, the monster came. Fortunately, he found that the white noise he often heard would interfere with the monster's actions. Arlo rushed out to attract the monster and help Olivia escape the control room. At this moment, there was no one alive in the corridor. Olivia opened the door marked with the number 3. She was stabbed by the monster as soon as she was ready to go in. How poor this crew is. It was not easy to wait for the monster to appear. It was a translucent jelly man. He kicked Olivia away and was about to go for the knife. Olivia took out the nail gun to counterattack and actually killed the monster. How did the gun have a bonus in the hand of the protagonist? Reese took it, but it was useless. Olivia walked to the monster's body and kicked the bomb made by Petter over. Then she shot the monster to death. Then she got on the reconnaissance ship and ran out of the dangerous exit. The number 2 shelter became a stone that accompanied her. 22 years ago, Olivia did not open the door of the shelter and let her parents die in a place separated by a wall. Over the years, she has never walked out of this tragedy. Now, the same choice of life and death is in front of her. Olivia did not want to repeat the same mistake. She tied all the bombs on her body and climbed into the hidden ventilation duct. When she successfully entered the base hall, Olivia turned on the white noise to disturb the monster. While the bomb was about to be placed around these passers-by, she quietly withdrew from the explosion range. Unexpectedly, the communicator on her body suddenly rang. She did not wait for Olivia to breathe. Then, a monster found her existence and lifted Olivia into the air. She did not say a word to start the bomb. As she was about to approach the base, she saw the explosion. The communicator took his men and searched the whole base. He rescued the people from shelter number 2, but they did not find Olivia. Fortunately, she found a photo of her and her parents in a gray mirror. To know that she never left this photo, she believed that Olivia must be nearby. She circled around and finally found her. Fortunately, Olivia was not killed by the bomb. She cried in her arms. Olivia finally understood that she did not have to return to Earth to look for those vain memories, because these years, Olivia has found a new family. The video ends here.